I don't listen to what people say. I look at what they do. I look at the actions of women. I see women say, I want a nice guy, but do they oftentimes end up with the guy that's cookie cutter and perfect? Most of the time, no. So obviously what they're telling you is not what they want. So as a man, it's like you got children. Your child might say something, but you know they mean something else. Like, you're the man. You're supposed to have this sixth sense of life. That's why we're the leaders. Everything a woman says is not literally what she wants. She's gonna say things because women are trying to protect their image most often than not. They don't wanna come off like I know a lot of women, and secretly I've met friends, female friends that say, I really want to dress like this, but I don't want people to look at me this way, or sometimes I want to be a little more liberated, or one day I want to try stripping. I don't think it's cool, but women are not going to always tell you their inclinations. You got to just assume and look at society and look at the world we live in. If she wants you, she's going to give herself to you. She's not going to make you wait for no 6 and 7 or 8 months. And if you believe that because she said that, I just don't think you're paying attention to what women actually do. You're listening to what they say. But that's what I'm saying. It's all about where you come from. Where I come from, you got to read body language. You got to read how people move. If I listen to what people said all the time, I wouldn't even be here. So I'm looking at more than just what they're saying. I'm looking at what they're doing.
But if women are these excellent manipulators, as you are kind of pointing out and stating, it's a manipulation tactic because they're actually doing the opposite of what they're saying. Why is there some assumption here then that if this is the case, that they're not going to have their actions, at least in some way, sync up to what it is they're telling you? The hundreds and hundreds of men that I talk to, for instance, they say there was no signs of problems. It seemed like she was acting in the exact same way she told me, right? She was acting the same way that she told me. These red flags were not always apparent, right? And then bam, there's a bombshell, like what happened to this poor guy. Bam, he's hit with a bombshell. Everything's going good. Everything seems to sync up. Everything she's saying and doing seems to be on par, right? He doesn't see any of these red flags, and then bam, gets hit with a bombshell. And it's like, so if it is the case, and on the one side you say, well, they're kind of expert manipulators, got to read between the line. And if you read between the lines, you'll know how to kind of crack this code. It's like, okay, but at the same time then, why couldn't they just also sync their words with their actions and trick you that way? That seems to be something which happens often.
She did it for the other guy that she liked. She didn't do it for him.
Yeah, but he didn't know that.
She never did anything based on that post. It was a lot of assumptions, and I feel it seems like he was talking like a girl to me. That's how women talk. I don't hear men talking like that. No offense, ladies. He was talking like he was in his feelings. He didn't sound like a man to me. He didn't sound masculine to me. Just because she agreed to eat your food that you bought does not mean she likes you because that's what she said. Her actions are going to show you that.
Too. It's intuition. It's read between the lines.
She didn't do nothing but just go on dates.
It's intuition, right?
But all she did was go on dates with him, and he said, I think it's going good. I took her out to eat 3 times, and she actually showed up. I think we're going places. That's what he believed. That's on him.
Can I add something? Does that mean that his feelings are just completely invalid now? Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is you can't put yourself in situations where you're not getting anything but words.
I understand that, but some people, like, when it's happening, they can't see for what it is. So for you to say, like, he's dumb, he shouldn't have done that, I don't actually believe that, because I feel like when you actually like someone, you can't see that you're getting played, or you wouldn't sit there and get played. You know what I'm saying? So as much as he would have liked to see that he was getting played, I don't think that he saw it. And to say that he should have been more of a man, he should have been more of a man, who cares how masculine it is? I still think his feelings are valid, you know?
I think if he looks back, he's going to say, because a lot of times when I talk to men...
And that's fine, but does that invalidate his entire experience?
No, but I can't call him a victim. You know what I'm saying? I just think he was misled, and I think he just was not really... He doesn't really understand the relationship dynamic today, and he's just very green.
I would
and
say
bless his heart. It's not. We need good people like that. That's great that he's very green and he just took things at face value. That's cool. But if you deal in this modern world with these modern women, and until she's your woman, she's not your woman. If you want to keep financing dates for a woman that you haven't confirmed that's your woman, that's a gamble that you're taking, brother.
Yeah, I feel like 100%, but I still feel like he might not have like relationship experience before. I still feel like his feelings are valid, because say that was his first relationship, he's figuring it out. He is 100% right in my opinion. Only because like you got hurt, like you didn't know what was happening, you didn't know what you were doing. So to say just be more of a man, I feel like he's learning. Let him learn, like, you know.
No, he learning. He gonna learn a lot.
There are red flags. So the first red flag is first of all, you're dating for a year and you're just going on dates. Like, what are we doing?
I mean, that's definitely red flags.
That's a red
yeah.
flag. Like he said, I agree with him. Like, us women, if we know we like someone, we're typically not going to say no. Now,
Yeah.
you guys may disagree, but if we're being honest,
Yeah.
we're not going to be like, oh no, I'm going to make you wait for 7 or 8. Like, that's crazy. That's really
That is crazy,
Like,
but
we're in 2024. Like, let's be real. That's not even realistic. And there were red flags. He just didn't see them for whatever the reason was, but he has to take an accountability for, just like we do. We all get in bad relationships. We live
Yeah.
and we learn, but you got to take accountability. I mean,
But
hello,
it's- but
who
it's-
does that?
But it's still his story, and he's still like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that like he should have done what he done, and like he should continue doing what
Yeah,
he does. But what I'm
accountability
saying is
for
like
what?
to invalidate his
do?
feelings completely is
played
weird.
himself.
I think they're both wrong.
allowed someone
himself.
to go
think
on
they're
a
both
date
wrong.
to date a girl for a whole year and just go on a bunch of dinner dates.
I thought
And
they
do
had
that with a
done,
relationship.
But that still doesn't
And
take away
assume-
from what it is.
And assume we're in a
Can I
relationship.
just
No,
ask
but
you,
it
though,
is a little
what
strange
what
that
do
he
we
didn't
expect him
ask.
to take accountability for? He didn't do anything wrong.
But
So where's
No,
the
he
accountability
just
for?
played. He didn't do anything
didn't
wrong to
ask.
anybody else. He wronged himself. He played himself. He disrespected himself and his time and his
Because
money.
he was
If
misled
that-
and lied to? That doesn't seem like he's
He
playing
mis-
himself.
If that
not- that's
mattered
not
that
being
much,
misled.
if that mattered that much to him, then that should have been established in the beginning.
Yeah, I just kind of reject this idea that men have like some type of sixth sense crystal ball where they can see in the future and
For
just know
sure.
that
It's
they're
not
being
about seeing the
misled
future,
or
bro.
I
lied
think
to
people
or
are
this
just
type of
making
thing.
it too complicated.
It seems to me completely reasonable to have expectations of the opposite sex that they don't lie and mislead you and fuck a bunch of other dudes while you're dating them. That just seems totally reasonable to me to have that expectation. Now, I understand the argument of saying, but Andrew, in the current modern dating world, that's not reality. I understand that portion of it, right? Perhaps it's not reality. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to bash a guy for having those expectations, because they're totally reasonable expectations to be like,
Not
well,
bashing.
We're not bashing
but-
based on what that. So I'm sorry, y'all. Based on what that thread said, I didn't see anything conclusive from her side that would make me think she's mine or she's waiting for me. He's saying it felt like, it seemed like. She didn't say you're my guy and we have a future. He said she's giving off feelings as if it might be. People lie and men do too. I've been in a situation where I have friends, and I'm all for the brothers. I'm all for the men. I'm for people, period. But I'm not gonna just say whatever just to fit anybody's narrative. I got friends. They'll say, yo, she tripping, she doing this, and then you'll really be a fly on the wall for this situation and be like, bruh, you goofy. That's what you're telling me she did. She didn't really do it like that. Like, men embellish too, and men lie to themselves too because the girl is cute. And it's a Reddit thread. We don't know what she said, and the stuff that he said about her isn't conclusive, and it isn't enough for me to put all my eggs in one basket and focus on her. Nothing she did said that I should be focused on this woman. He assumed that. Nothing she said or nothing he said that she said shows
all
me
you
that.
got on a relationship in the beginning is your intuition in the way that people are acting, in the way that they're moving towards each other. What else do you have?
What was
You
her
can only take
actions?
people-
Showing up to eat?
Well, hang on.
Well, maybe he thought
right?
she was traditional, like you were saying, and was
if
waiting
you're
to not give herself away.
Yeah, if you're under the assumption and you're being led under that assumption, you could say he was wrong. That's fair to say that he was wrong, but I don't think it's fair to say he did anything wrong or that he was out of pocket here. I think that it's far more reasonable to say, okay, I had a reasonable expectation that we were inside of an actual relationship, moving towards that, because that's all of the signs, all the signals, all the everything, we're demonstrating that. Now, what else do you have except that conversation intuition? What else do you have?
Respectfully, what was the signs? Because if I'm inviting a woman to eat and she
Well, he
shows up
says
to
it wasn't
eat,
signs.
but he didn't explain nothing. That's what he said. We just assume he's telling the truth. I'm not gonna do that. I don't assume people telling the truth. What I heard was
Well, I
I
didn't
took
say
her
it was
out.
what he said.
Okay,
Right.
what I heard was I invited her out to eat. She showed up and ate multiple times, and that I feel like we're getting somewhere. That's not showing me anything. Now, if I took her to eat and she took me to eat, then I would say, oh, maybe she's into me because sex is off the table. We're not intimate. So if we're not having sex, what is she doing to show me that I have a chance with her besides showing up to eat? Nothing. So if you are believing that and thinking because she came to eat, which most people will do, and you think because she came to eat on your dime multiple times, that means y'all are going,
like for a year?
That's all on him. What? I don't know no man who would do that for a year.
I don't know, man. That seems.
Would you do that? Would you do that?
Well, I'm only taking the story at the value of the story.
Though?
So
would you do
it?
Hang
on. What I'm not doing is I'm not reinventing the story. I'm only taking it at face value and contending with what the guy is saying. Now we can add new. We can add new inventions to the story in order to make it sound this way or that way. I'm literally only contending with what's being said, assuming that for right now it's true because we don't have anything else to match it against.
Okay, so we don't. But as men, what do we say? We push back when women say believe all women. So I'm not gonna believe all men either. Based on what he said, I took her out to eat for a year, and she gave herself to somebody else. That's
not what that means. When you say when they say believe all women, they're talking about a specific thing, which is SA, right? And so that's what the point of contention is there. I think, genuinely speaking, I do believe most men's experience in relationships over most women. To be honest with you, I really do.
I think that was his chance to take that risk factor of waiting for her, knowing or not knowing that she has done something. But I feel like that's more on him on that part, but morally it's not right for her to do that either, in my perspective. But again, I just think it should have been brought up in the beginning. If that was that serious and that important to him, then it just should have been asked in the beginning if she was sleeping with other people or not. Apparently it wasn't such a big thing to her because that's what she's doing. I don't know.
Now this, I would say, right, I have to say is reasonable. It's reasonable to say, okay, in the beginning we've established firm boundaries, this and that. I understand the principle behind this, and it makes total sense to me. But this is why I brought up the hypothetical of, for instance, if you had genital warts, would you disclose it? You say yes, and it's because you know that the person, if they're informed of that, is going to make a different decision because now they know the situation. I think it's the same thing in this instance, that there's some kind of duty or obligation here if you know that this person's moving towards a relationship but would not if you revealed that information, to reveal that information to them. That seems totally reasonable. Same thing if like a guy was a multiple felon. Wouldn't you want to know that?
100%.
Before establishing, or if they were guilty of domestic violence, you would want to know that, right? So, and the reason you would want to know those things is because that's the best way you can make an informed decision about what it is that you're doing. So I think that there's a duty and obligation to do that.
So Andrew, let me ask you a quick question.
Sure.
Would you take a woman out on dates for a complete year and think that y'all going somewhere and y'all didn't do anything?
What is
Wouldn't
going
take her out on
somewhere
a
to
date
you
for
though?
2 weeks, but whether or not I would. So to answer your question directly, right? Of course not. But the thing is like first and foremost, right? I'll make a couple things clear. So here's my olive branch to you. I don't know anything about women, and I don't know shit about dating. I've been out of the dating market for years, right? I'm what you would consider to be a logician. That's basically what I do. I run everything through a fount prism for Christian ethics and logic, right? I'm not saying that you don't know more about dating than me. All of you, I'm most certainly know more than I do. I'm in no position
I don't
to
know
give
everything
advice about dating at all. So that's kind of my olive branch to you. But I can just say here that what I'm not willing to do, if I'm just looking at it from the prism of who's doing the right things, who's doing the wrong things, from the moral prism, from Christian ethics, from these kind of standpoints, it seems to me that it's completely reasonable to believe a person's telling you the truth and to make inferences that if they know that you want to be exclusive and you know that that's what they're working for, even if you haven't established that boundary, that they have some obligation to tell you that, or they're in the wrong. I think that that's totally fair. Now, is that reasonable, or does it map onto the reality of the situation? No, probably not, right? So you're probably right there. Like, he should have known this, he should have known that. Maybe all of that's true, right? But I still think that I'm going to hold, if this is all true, her accountable for this, and not him, because I don't see what he actually did wrong.